My renewable energy presentation. Why renewable energy is important. The environmental impact is tremendous, shifting from renewable or from non-renewable to renewable. Non-renewable includes like coal, uh, things like that. Um, and that creates a lot of pollutants that go into the air, water, land, where renewable energy is essentially clean energy, where it doesn't provide any environmental impact, um, and it doesn't pollute the air, pollute the ground, pollute water, anything like that. The cost over time, the cost of using renewable energy is significant because once you put up renewable energy, the maintenance is very little. Energy dependability. Like, if there's a shortage of coal, you're going to run out of electricity. But for like wind energy, there's never a shortage of wind. It's always windy outside. There's always some sort of wind somewhere in the world, which means that no matter what, anywhere in the world, energy can be produced if used correctly. And infinite power. Renewable energy is so important because within the next 300 years, non renewable energy like coal will be completely used up if we do not do anything about it. But renewable energy that uses the wind, the sun, the flow of water, that will last forever. The only time that would stop working is if the earth stops spinning or if the sun blew up. So, there's a very high chance of that continuing forever, which means infinite power. Pros to wind energy. Like I said before, it's infinite. It'll last forever. The long-term cost. Over time, the cost for making wind energy will go down because there's little to no maintenance. Like I said, the environmental impact is so little. It creates very little noise pollution. And other than that, it is amazing for the environment because it doesn't pollute the air or anything like that. Number 4, natural resources. One of the major downsides to a non-renewable resource like coal is because it'll run out within the next couple hundred years and it pollutes the air, the water, the land, and it's just really bad for the environment. Maintenance. This goes along with the long-term cost. Like I said before, the maintenance is very little on these types of machines. And future energy. The coal is going to run out and we're not making enough of it, which means in a couple hundred years, which will be definitely past my time, and that means we'll completely run out of electricity and it'll be a blackout across the entire world. But if we have renewable energy, like wind energy, we'll never have that problem. Cons to wind energy. Number 1, birds and bats. Windmills are very large things, and they have rotors, which I'll be getting into later. They spin at a decently high speed, and birds and bats have a chance of getting hit by those rotors, and it is proven that the bird and bat population tends to decrease when they are created. Noise. They do create a small amount of noise when operating and during building, but compared to coal and stuff like that, it is a very small amount. The view. They don't look the best, and they can take up a pretty landscape. But like I said before, it's a definite plus, better than a coal plant producing smog 24/7. Operation times. the wind isn't always blowing in one certain area, so it's not 100% reliable with the times of operation. Like, you can't tell it to turn on and turn off. The upfront cost. The upfront cost for building a windmill is pretty high at this point, but it is at a steady decline as newer and newer things continue to be researched. And over time, like I said before, the maintenance is so little that over time it pays for itself very quickly. Space. Um, a wind field or a wind farm can take up quite a bit of space, but overall, with all the pros, it kind of outweighs this space. As yet, the wind is untamed and unharnessed force, and quite possibly one of the greatest discoveries hereafter to be made will be taming and harnessing of it. And that quote was by Abraham Lincoln, and that just says that even when he was the president and he was still alive, he could see for the future that the wind, that was going to play a major role in how humanity went. One-on-one on how windmills work. How a windmill works. So you got the wind coming in, and then that spins the rotor blades. Those are the things right here. And they spin in a circle. And then if we zoom in a little bit, we can see what the blades are connected to is called the hub. That connects to the low-speed shaft. Normally, the blades spin extremely slow because they are so big. So, you come into the low-speed shaft, it's going extremely slow, and then the gearbox. The gearbox makes the shaft spin a lot faster, and that is why the shaft is called the high-speed shaft right here. And then after the gearbox, you have a brake. And what the brake is used for is if they have too much electricity and they want to shut it off, or if there's a problem, you can use the brake. And then after your high-speed shaft, that goes straight into the generator. And then the generator creates electricity. And then if we zoom out a little bit, we got the power cables running out of that right here. And then the entire wind turbine is on top of a tower that normally goes pretty high, so you can get higher wind speeds. So the power cable comes down, then it goes into a transformer. And then it goes into those telephone poles that go across highways and other types of roads. That is the extremely simple explanation of what a windmill is. My project. The materials used was a plastic water bottle, a small wind turbine rotor and hub, a small VDC motor, because when you turn it backwards it turns into a generator, and then a small connector that connects the hub to the engine, and then the engine to the water bottle so it's steady. The cost, it was a $15 small wind turbine that was easy to make. Quality, it had a pretty high quality, even though it didn't come with a stand. But that only took like a $2 water bottle. Usability, it was very easy to use and set up. And it worked just like as advertised. And that just continues to show the simplicity in the basic parts needed is very simplistic for wind energy, and that's another major plus. Hello, my name is Brad, and I'm going to be showing you the homemade windmill that I've built today. I bought this kit off Amazon. It was $15, and it's a small plastic windmill that goes on top of a water bottle. It just screws on and off the lid, like so. It works pretty well, and it uses a small electric VDC motor. Right there. The reason why I used a VDC motor is because when you run it backwards, it turns into a mini generator. And then if you hook it up to a small LED red light, it'll turn on whenever the windmill is actually blowing. And here's a small clip of it actually working. Thanks for listening. My name is Bradley Schmidt O'Connor, and I hope you enjoyed.